this is an interesting survey that came up. We have talked about this in the past on the show, but maybe not enough, about the large amount of fraud that can happen during a real estate transaction. And so there was a recent survey, the 2024 State of Wire Fraud Study by Certified ID. They said that 71% of the consumers that they had interviewed said they didn't get enough education during the process of buying a home about the potential for fraud and thought it was someone else's responsibility to educate them. So I am taking the opportunity right now to educate people about how serious it is. It's kind of crazy. So what happens? They are saying that last year, there was a big increase in scams. One in four consumers say they were targeted by fraud attempts during the real estate closing process. So what happens is there's fraudulent communication that scammers make. They make it appear like it's coming from their real estate agent in the transaction, or the mortgage professional, or the settlement agent. And they attempt to get the consumer to wire money to them, saying it's part of the closing, but it has nothing to do with the closing. And that's where locally in central Iowa, we see that a lot of times it's either closing settlement agencies or attorneys' offices that close loans, and they are extremely strict about not allowing wires as part of a transaction in order to get the funds, because there's such a high rate of fraud that happens. So when they do allow a wire to occur, they have extreme measures to confirm the identity of who they are sending the wire to. And so what happens, the reason why they say this is so prevalent, because it's oh my gosh, we should be able to prevent this. Where is this information coming from that's creating the potential for fraud? But real estate's especially vulnerable because there's so much data available about property listings on the MLS and in county records. There's so many parties involved that know what's happening with the transaction, from a real estate agent on each side, a brokerage on each side, a lender, a title company. There's appraisers. There's so many people that have the data. Yeah, there's so many people that have the data about it that it is that there's a lot of information floating around about the closing and about the details to it. And there's a lot of people that are getting messages that someone can be vulnerable and give the wrong information that they shouldn't be.
And that's another reason to hire a real estate professional and call Misty. 515-575-9950. You have an entire department that does nothing but focus on the back end of these real estate transactions and do all the paperwork, all the complicated things that sometimes a forward-facing agent that loves showing you homes and getting to know you.
That's the last thing they want to do.
Writing the offer. Yeah. They would rather not get into the weeds on all of that. But you have, and when that's what you focus on, you become very good.
Exactly.
At that part of the transaction, too.
For sure.